Hello, you guys. This is you140550. If you guys have not seen the newest video I added, it has to do with a little bit of what was happening recently. It's an update video, just generally that I have been very busy and I have been doing a lot of different things, and also to just talk about different things that are happening right now. I'm sorry for messing my words. It is pretty tiring right now. It is pretty not only tiring, but also it's been a pretty long day, school, work, and a whole bunch of other things, and studying, because it is what we call finals week, or about to be finals week. Some finals are going earlier than others, so in a lot of ways we also call it dead week, which you probably have heard in high school is what some people would call dead week. But anyways, that is not part of this video at the moment. But this is the do's and don'ts, my little tricks and tips on different things that you will definitely learn as incoming freshmen. And even if you aren't incoming freshmen, this series has gone in depth about many things. Now, if you are in community college and you have finished your different requirements, which you probably have not, especially since this is mostly for the most of this is mostly for the most part for incoming freshmen. But even though, if somehow, for some reason, you finally have finished all of your requirements, you have to start doing things called applying for applications. A lot of us have done it. A lot of us are in it right now. And the biggest thing I have to tell you is that it is a real big thing to do. I would not recommend finishing these applications near the end of the deadline or near the deadline, because sometimes it's hard, but sometimes also at the same time things hit the fan at times and you just have to deal with it, because you're so busy with school and you got to get these, classes done, and you've got to go to work and you got a whole bunch of other things to do. So I totally get it that there will be times where literally things will hit the fan and you will have to adapt and try and finish your applications, or some of your applications. There will be some that you can still submit later, but for the most part, a lot of your things that you are going to a lot of the things that you're going to be applying for will be the first ones that you'll do. Is usually in your main state, where most of your campuses are. I am in Northern California area, so of course there will be a lot of Northern and Southern California schools that I could be choosing to transfer to. A lot of people tend to go to UCs, CSUs. CSUs are state schools, and like SF State, San Jose State, Humboldt, I think, is a state school, etc. Like a whole bunch of different ones. And then UCs are usually the University of California schools, which is, they're both, pretty high schools and hard schools to get into at times. But the one that's definitely much harder to get into is UCs, and a lot of people love to go to UCs for many reasons, and some of those reasons can be that they've heard that they are top schools, and they're schools that are really hard to get into, and that they'll be able to say that they graduated from a UC. Other people, when they graduate or they want to go to UCs, have other reasons why they want to, because they want to further their education, and they feel like, these are the schools that they can really work with and they really love, and many other reasons actually. But these are just some. There is some schools that are considered party schools, but also at the same time, even though they're party schools, they're also still very critical about your academics. And then, of course, there's a thing called tag, which generally, when you tag, you try and apply for this much earlier in the semester, usually in fall, so you can transfer the next fall. And usually those applications, those tag applications, usually for UCs mostly, are definite not fully, but for the most part, definite acceptance into the possible school that you want to transfer to if you tag. And these tags usually help you get into these schools much easier than, let's say, some of the other people that will probably do what most people would call general applications. Now, when you do applications, no matter where you go, and I'm giving you some examples as I am going through this video, I'm sorry if I'm stopping. I'm trying to get this in one take, and also I'm tired, so please forgive me that this might not be the best video that I'm making, especially since I don't have time to edit these videos at the moment. But nonetheless, as I said, yes, so there is definitely being a lot of information that you're going to definitely learn and that you're definitely going to understand. When you go to your community college, especially most people start in community college, if you go straight, then you go straight to university, but there is a difference in pay, aka difference in amount of money that you're going to have to pay for your college and or university, and other reasons as to, why you should probably start at a community college. But anyways, as you are trying to apply, the biggest tips that I would recommend, because this is one of the ones that I definitely think a lot of us have gone through, and some of us are even going through right now, is basically trying to get your application finished. There is so many different details. Some details are very personal details. Some of them have to talk about yourself. Some of them have to do with personal records that I, of course, cannot really talk too much about because, they're your own personal records. Then you got some supporting details such as, what have you done? Have you worked here? Have you worked there? Have you gotten any achievements? Have you gotten any awards? And then also, at the same time, you have a checklist of how many different classes you took every single semester that you were in this community college before you actually were able to transfer. And I can tell you right now, it is, and it was a really hard time trying to what's the word I'm trying to think of? Hard time trying to finish these applications because you have to manually put in every single class, every single grade, every single repeated class, etc. And basically you put every semester, then you put every course, then you put another semester, then you put another course, and generally if you're doing this according to what a lot of people have understood is that even though you've been here for, let's say, community college for maybe 4 years, 5 years, you are going to separate, even though you can be considered a junior or a super senior in the community college in a sense, or whatever, how long you've been to the community college, you will notice that you're going to have to separate all of those years into 2 different categories, freshman and sophomore, because you are going to transfer as a junior when you transfer to that university. That is also provided that you finish and get your grades in tip-top shape, in passing mode, of course, in the passing grades, which is C, B, and A. Generally, you want B's and A's, definitely. But there will be times where you might get some C's. So do understand that, but at least as long as you pass, then it's pretty good for your degree. and for your school that you're transferring to, because at least they'll see that, okay, this person has passed, this person has done this, and this. But some schools will definitely be more strict and more critical as to what grades you get. So do know that some schools will not be happy if you get a C in some of your classes, especially if it's a core class. So do understand that. But once you finish all the things that you have to do, and you finally did all your courses and all your classes, and once you've finished all the personal information, your supporting information, your other information that has to do with FAFSA or has to do with any other supporting details that you need, whether you are a student that is paying out of pocket through your parents and yourself, or you're paying through FAFSA or another program or another service that you are able to get, then definitely this is one of those things that you definitely want to look into, and you definitely want to check with your community college and see where you're going to transfer from and how you're going to transfer there, and all of the other details that you need to add in there. I would also recommend that if you were in a program such as, for some people, disability resource center, or some type of center that is for anybody with a learning disability, definitely is a place and or a program to go to if you have any of those learning disabilities, or hard way having those problems to understand what the professor is talking about. And sometimes maybe they're doing like hard ways of like doing this mathematics, or hard ways of doing this English class. Maybe you can get a little bit more help. Oh my gosh, help if you go to some of these programs, such as the one I just mentioned. There's also many other ones. It depends on your school, and it depends on the programs that they call. Their programs that they call for their school, and I think I just repeated myself, so I'm so sorry, guys. But there's some things that some people call EOPS. There's a lot of different other programs that some people will call this program or that program. If you want to specifically work in a specific degree or program, you definitely want to join some different types of organizations or clubs on your school, and you definitely want to learn the lay of the land while you're in community college, so that you'll understand the lay of the land when you transfer, because any of these programs that you go into will transfer with you, and it will show that, hey, this person not only did this, but he also went to some clubs, he also went to this program, he also went to there, or she went to there, or whatever, person it is, went to these different things. Shows that you not only just went to school, but you also used different services to help you out, and at the same time not only help you out, but also make your experience in community college / university a much more interesting and much more experienced, or not exactly experience, but much more enriching, experience. Because in a lot of ways, college is a big experience. You are enjoying time with new friends. You are enjoying cool events. You might even join a fraternity or sorority. You might, you might join this club or that club. But one thing's for sure, there is two different versions of different fraternities and sororities. Some are definitely the party ones, and some of them are more academic. And whichever one you choose is definitely an experience and definitely an interesting thing to see while you're in college. So these are some tricks and tips and some things to kind of prepare you for your application. Now, the application in general is going to ask you a lot of different questions. Some of them very personal questions, and some of them very personal questions, and some of them very like interesting questions, such as what they call academic probation. If you've ever been in academic probation, you might explain as to how you got there, why you got there, and how you got out of that probation. Generally, in some schools, academic probation basically means that you are restricted to a specific point of specific classes or a good amount of units of classes to take because you didn't do well for a specific semester. So definitely you want to try your best not to fail or not to mess up, but there will be times that might happen. No matter what, these are some of the tricks and tips and just different little things that I would say you want to prepare for. You definitely want to, after you're done with your degree, or should I say, done with your applications, or as many of the applications that you do, whether it's in your state or out of state, make sure to keep up your grades because those are the biggest things. One of the biggest things. They're not just the biggest things, but they're one of the biggest things that will determine whether you get accepted to school or whether you don't get accepted to school. But also at the same time, it's almost like a mini job in a way, because there's 1,000 or more applicants. That is, one out of those applicants, AKU, and those applicants, out of all of them, only a few people sometimes get selected. So you definitely want to try your best to push yourself and at the same time enjoy the college experience and at the same time really, really, really try your best to get the best grades that you can and at the same time keep up your grades because you definitely want to pass a lot of your classes so that they will show on your transcript that you will send to your professor and your or your new school. Along with that, there's also one more thing I want to talk about, and I totally forgot to explain it, but there is something that I would say almost in any school. This is the reason why you make friends. This is also the reason why you take different classes, is so that you can also network. Not only are you making friends, but you're also making colleagues / networks in a way that you can ask your professors, if you really, really like them as a professor and they really taught well and you really got to know these people really, really well, then you can ask them for a letter of recommendation. This letter of recommendations will definitely show, and they will definitely be part of your application to show that you are very much interested in getting into school, and it'll also show that there's more to you than just your grades. There is more to you than just that. There's many interesting things about you. And sometimes, when you find professors or people that have known you very, very well, they'll be able to explain to the people that are trying to accept you that this person is an awesome student. He went into X amount of my different classes and he was very engaging. He was very interesting and I learned a lot about him and he learned a lot about me and he learned a lot about the different types of histories and he's a well-rounded or she's a well-rounded person, etc., etc., etc. Sincerely, this person to applicant so-and-so, etc., depending on how they will make that letter. Now, anyways, with that being said, this is U14050 signing out, and these are my do's and don'ts of the college of the college understanding and definitely the tips and tricks for incoming freshmen or any other people that have already been in college for a little while and are very close to transferring, because this is the pinnacle of community college. This is also the pinnacle of any transferring from high school straight to college to university or straight to a community college, whichever one. It's still college, it's still a university, it's still higher learning, or should I say higher learning, and it definitely is something to think about, because these are the little necessary steps that you'll need in order to understand how to fill out the application and to understand where you might get accepted. Alright, I gotta go now because I kind of went a bit over, but peace, you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Toodles.